Hi guys, thanks for joining me today. I'm Marilyn and my channel is Making with Marilyn. Now on today's video, I'm going to use the xTool F1 laser. This is a diode laser and I'm going to use it to engrave on some pencils. One of the nice features of this laser is, in addition to the traditional blue light laser, it also has a red light laser. Now the benefit of that is not only can you cut wood or engrave on wood or some other products, but the infrared laser lets you engrave on metal. Other things that I'll be using, in addition to the xTool F1, I have the air purifier, I'll use my computer, I'm going to engrave on these Ticonderoga pencils, and then I have these safety glasses that I got off of Amazon. Now I bought this pair because they're rated not only for blue light, but also for red light. And then lastly, I'm going to use just a little bit of painter's tape. So if you're interested in checking out any of these things that I'm using today, check out the video description and I'll have some links there. Now before we get started, if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider doing that. If you do, tap that bell and then select the all notification. That way YouTube lets you know anytime I upload new content. For now, if you're interested in this project, sit back, relax, and let's get started. Now, I engraved some pencils on a YouTube Live a while back, but after that, I wanted to really dial in my settings. So I started practicing on this pencil. Let me show you the results. So the name on it is Sophia. And the first one that I did, these were the default settings for basswood. Then I wanted it to be darker, and so I slowed down the speed and I increased the lines per centimeter. That looked terrible. So then I did some more adjustments and I got this. Basically this one was the default settings but with 2 passes. And that looks pretty good, but it started kind of blending together. So the one I settled on is this one right here. I'm going to show you those settings in just a minute. Now I want to make a jig for pencils. Here's a jig that I made for dog tags. It comes in really handy. So I will do one for pencils, but for today I'm just going to show you how you engrave them, what my settings were, and then I'll work on that jig later. Now the settings I'm using are what I think works well on these Ticonderoga pencils. These are some premium pencils. I think teachers love these. If you're going to use a different brand, you might have slightly different settings you need to use, so just keep that in mind. All right, let's jump over to the computer. I want to show you how to set this up and what settings I use. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and open my xTool Creative Space software. I already have my machine turned on, and you might have heard that beep. It recognized that it's already connected. Now, making these pencils is super easy. I'm going to click right here on text, and then the default word is hello, and the default font, or they call typeface, is Lato, and the size is 72. So I'm going to back up over that, and I'm going to type Sophia. Now, I'm not going to worry about the size right now, but I want to go find Hobo Standard. I've made other things for Sophia, and this has been a font I've used with her name, so I'm just going to stick with that. Now, it's right here, and just so we can see it better, I'm going to click right over here on Engrave. Then what I like to do is I like to have things in the center of the F1 unless I'm using a jig, but for now I'm not, so I like to have it in the center. And you can see it's in the center when those 2 crosshairs show up. So let me show you what I mean. When I move it to the right, now I know it's in the center from left and right. And then when the second line shows up, I know it's in the center from top to bottom. Now the size that I used before that I thought worked really well was 0.13. Now you can see I'm going to have to move it again. Let's go ahead and move it over, move it down, and there we are. Now to pick my settings, or to pick the initial settings, I'm going to click off of it, and I'm going to go right here to Material, and I'm going to pick this 3mm basswood plywood setting. That's just my starting place. So then I click back on it, and here's the settings for Engrave. A power of 100, a speed of 300, 1 pass, and lines per centimeter of 100. When I did my test pencil, what I liked was to go ahead and bump this speed up to 500, and then I went right down here and I changed it to 2 passes. Now, one time I really bumped up these lines per centimeter and it just made it really messy. So for this tiny of an image, I'm going to leave this 100 alone. All right, let's go ahead and see if that's in the middle still. All right, it is. So now I'm ready to go ahead and engrave this. Remember, you click off of it, you choose your material, you click on it, you select either score, engrave, or cut. And of course here we're engraving. I'm engraving with the blue light laser at a power of 100%, a speed of 500, and 2 passes. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and say framing. I don't even have my pencil on there yet, but I'm going to show you how to do that in a minute. So I'll click on framing, and then we're going to put our pencil in the right place. Now, in addition to framing this, I need to have it at the right height. Hopefully I can do those two things at once. Now, here is what comes engraved on it. So I want it on the opposite side. So it's going to be on this flat part right here. I'm going to put this down where I can see those framing marks. And I want it closer to the eraser so that as she uses this pencil, she can still see her name as she gets closer to the eraser. Now, hopefully those are showing up in the camera for you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and kind of get my head over it and make sure it looks like it's in the right place. And then I'll adjust the pencil as necessary. All right, let's go ahead and stop framing for just a minute. Now what I should have done first is to go ahead and focus this. You focus it by having the red light meet the blue light. And you do that with this little knob on the side. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it. And once that red light meets the blue light, I'm at the right height and it'll be focused. So now let me go back to framing. All right, looks like I need to move my pencil forward just a little bit. And then when I have it where I want it, since I don't have a jig in there to hold it in place, I'm going to use 2 little pieces of tape. When I did my test pencil, when I didn't use tape, after it engraved it, it kind of blew it off the table. And so I just want to use tape to hold it down. You don't have to do a lot of tape, you just don't want it to roll around. So you can see when I get a jig designed and cut out, that's going to be so much better. All right, I like the looks of that, so let me go ahead and stop framing again. So the next thing that you do is you go ahead and hit process. It gives you a little preview, and then you click on start. It's not going to start yet. You have to push a button on the side of it. I'm going to get my glasses on before I do that. And typically I would put that green protective shield all the way down, but so that you can see it, I'm going to go ahead and leave it up. But again, as this engraves, I'm going to use my protective glasses, and I'm also not going to look at it. So let's go ahead and hit start. Now that I've pushed start, I can push this button on the side. It's the same one that we use to rotate the focus up and down. I have my glasses on, and again, I'm not going to look at this while it does it. Now this is going to be super fast. Now when my laser came on, my filter also came on. You want to make sure that you either have this vented out a window or you have it connected to a filter or what they call an air purifier. All right, was that not crazy fast? Let's look at it. I think that turned out perfect. Now it looks like something's on the pencil there. I'm sure that was already on it when we started. But look how cute that is. Now, I want to go ahead and engrave again, but this time I'm going to add some hearts to it. All right, let's go ahead and say okay, and then we're going to go back and do some more designing. Let's go to shape, and here's a heart. Let's make that a lot smaller. We'll make it about the same size as the word Sophie, and remember that was 0.13 inches tall. So let's go ahead and do that. Now I need to change this to engrave so it shows up. There it is. And then let's go ahead and move this up. All right, does that look pretty even with it? I think it does. That looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and hit Command C, Command V. That way we copied and pasted it. Now we're going to do a few more of these. Let's go ahead and circle around both of them. Hit Command C for copy, Command V for paste. Let's move those over. We're going to try to make this look better in just a minute. We'll do the same thing. Command C for copy, Command V for paste. All right, let's move this whole thing over. And then they look like they're spaced out pretty nicely. Let's go ahead and select all those hearts. Let's go up to align. And let's distribute them horizontally, meaning you'll have equal space between them. Okay, so when I was in the software, it automatically did that for us, but in case it wasn't right, that would have fixed it. Okay, I'm going to make these a tiny bit smaller. Go back down to 0.13. And I like that. Let's go with that. So I'm going to go ahead and hit framing again and put another pencil under there. Now I'm not sure I have the right part up. Let's see. So there's that. So it needs to be this flat piece right here. Okay, I think that's good. All right, let me get a good look at that. All right, I think that looks good. So now I'm just going to put my tape on. All right, I like that. Let's go ahead and go back to the computer, tell it to stop framing, and then let's go ahead and process this. Once again, after hitting process, you hit start, and then I need to go over there, push that button on the F1. I doubt this is going to take very long. Let me guess, 5 seconds. That's my guess. All right, I was off by 1 second. It took 6 seconds. That's pretty cute. I love it, and I think Sophia's gonna love it. All right, so there are so many things that you can do with this. It is a fast laser. It doesn't take a lot of space. And I am looking forward to learning more and more about this. And as I learn more, I'll go ahead and share it with you. So thanks so much for joining me today. And until my next video, bye-bye.